Hey ladies, it's Ariane, and I finally figured out how to do video and upload it on my nice camera. So I'm really excited to finally be doing a video update. I'm really sorry about the last update. That was just pictures and words, but I finally get to do a real update, and this is going to be my labor and delivery story. I've got all three of the girls sleeping right now, and so I'm gonna see how fast I can do this. I didn't write anything down, and I'm gonna try to do this in 2 videos because like I said, I didn't write anything down. I don't have notes. I'm just gonna try really hard to remember as best I can. And then I'm going to, whenever I get time, hopefully sooner rather than later, I'm gonna do a separate newborn video, and I'm gonna do a separate postpartum video, because I know those are, I don't know, those are just as fun as the labor and delivery. But as for labor and delivery, I will go ahead and tell you my story, and I'm gonna try to give you as much information, just experience, whatever, as I can. I wanted to get this video up because I have so many friends on YouTube that are due to have their baby, or are having their baby, or just had their baby, and I wanted them to kind of have this experience before they had their baby, or at least until they could get back to YouTube if it takes a while after having a baby. So I wanted to try to get this up as quick as possible, and I'm sorry it's taken so long. Today I am 4.5 days postpartum. So I will just go into my story. On Friday, so last Friday, we celebrated my daughter's 4th birthday, and we celebrated it early because we didn't know when the baby was going to be born. But I was definitely feeling like I was getting close to having her. I had a lot of that low pressure. I was really heavy, really, I don't know, I just felt a lot of that low sensitivity and the pain in my leg, and I just felt like it was going to happen. And so we went swimming for her birthday, and so I spent kind of the day doing a lot of physical running around, swimming with the kids, getting them ready in the dressing room and stuff like that, my husband and my 2 girls. And so I just kind of thought, if this is a really busy day, maybe this will be a good day, to go into labor, like do a lot of walking and kind of overexert myself. And so we did that. I took castor oil, I think, when I got home from that. And so I took about 3 tablespoons of castor oil kind of in the afternoon. And really it didn't bother me. It wasn't half as painful as I remembered it being. But that night at about 6:30, I started having contractions. I got really excited, like they were kind of coming and going, and they were about 10 minutes apart, something like that. And so they kind of lasted on and off throughout the evening and into the night. I was really excited when I first felt them. It was just really exciting for me to like feel that contraction, and it was a little uncomfortable at first, nothing bad, but just to feel like it's happening, like this is it, I'm having contractions, was very exciting for me, because I was very excited, as many of you know, to finally go into labor. It was just kind of made me very happy to feel those contractions. Finally, at around, I don't know, maybe 2 in the morning, they got really strong and they got really close together. And I think it was the close together part that concerned me the most. They were like a minute apart, and they came on really strong and really close together. And at first I was kind of like, I'll ride this out, I'm not going to call my midwife till morning. But as they got really close together, I kind of started to worry, like, they're a minute apart, what does this mean? Like, is this just weird irregular contractions, or is this like I should be at the birth center right now, I'm gonna have a baby? And so I finally, at about 3 in the morning, I called my midwife, and I felt so bad doing that. And she said, you should probably come in, let's take a look at you. And so I called my sister. She came over in the middle of the night and watched my girls, and my husband and I went to the birth center. At the birth center, the other midwife showed up, and she checked me. I was only dilated to 3, but she saw my contractions were strong and really close together, so she thought maybe, you know, something would happen. And she suggested that I get in the birthing tub, and I didn't want to because I didn't want to slow down my contractions. I really wanted to get it going, and I just kind of had this, like, I don't want to get in the tub. And at first I said no, but then as I was laboring, she suggested again, and finally I was like, okay. So I got in the tub, and that really kind of stopped my contractions. They slowed down quite a bit. They grew apart in distance to where they were, I don't know, maybe 9, I would say between 7 and 9 minutes apart. And I was laying on the bed. I was really, really tired. I was really tired. In fact, I have a little video that I will include. And I was just really tired. Finally, after a little while, I think the midwife was like, well, you know, maybe at this point it would be really good for you to go home and go to bed, because I hadn't slept. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to go home and go to bed. Like, I wanted to get this going, and I felt so bad that my contractions slowed down. I was really not happy that they had slowed down, and here I was in the birth center. It really upset me. But finally I was like, okay, I'll go home and go to bed. So at about 9:30 in the morning, I came home. I laid down to go to bed, and I got about an hour and a half sleep where I don't think I had any contractions. I slept for about an hour and a half. And even though I was really bummed that my contractions seemed to have stopped, I was like, whatever, I'm gonna sleep. And I got a good hour and a half sleep. And then by the time I woke up in bed, they started coming back again, and they started coming back again. And so I labored throughout the day from, you know, I woke up at about 11 maybe, and labored throughout the day at home. I was trying really hard to just last as long as I could at home. I started, when I woke up from my nap, no, not from my nap. Sometime in the middle of the night, I tried laying down. I don't think I lasted very long. But when I woke up, I forgot to mention this, I had bled a lot. Not like a bloody show, like actual blood, like watery blood. I don't think my water didn't break, but that's kind of what I thought, because it was really watery and it was kind of everywhere. Leaked through onto my bed sheets and stuff. So I had a lot of blood. And so at this point, I noticed just kind of throughout the day as I was laboring, I had a lot of bloody discharge. That is sort of like your bloody show, but it lasted a lot longer than it did with either of my pregnancies. Like, I didn't ever bleed during labor with my other 2 pregnancies. But this time I did. I bled the whole entire time I was in labor. I had a constant mucousy bloody discharge that was constant, really, really, really gross and heavy. I felt like it was really heavy. So I labored at home until about, I'd say, as long as I could, until about, what time did I finally go in? Oh, I think I finally went into the birth center at 3:45 the next day. They were close together at that point, and they were really, really, really strong. And I was getting to where they hurt, and they hurt in my back more than I had remembered. The contractions I felt like the baby was trying to come through my back, like it was boring a hole in through my back. That's what the contraction felt like. And it got really very uncomfortable. I thought maybe not more uncomfortable than my previous labors, but I felt like I don't remember there being this much back pain with my first labors. So anyway, we finally went in, and she checked me, and I was dilated to 7.5. So I was very happy. 7.5 already. She was impressed. The baby had dropped quite a bit, so she was very impressed at how much progress I had made. And so at that point, okay, I'm going to try to remember this in order. She checked me a couple times. She found out at this point that the baby had flipped and was posterior. So she was facing my back, which babies are supposed to face your side, I think. When they first start to come out, they're supposed to face sideways. But this baby was flipped backwards, so she was facing my back. And so she tried to they did a lot of feeling for the baby to figure out which way the baby was faced, and it took them a while to figure out the baby was posterior. And so they did a lot of that manual trying to twist her, which was very painful. And they did that a lot. And so then they suggested, and I don't know, okay, they called it sterile water. I had never heard of this before. Many of you maybe have. I guess I don't know if it's a new thing or what they do. It's a natural childbirth, but they take sterile water of some sort and they put 4 injections in your back spine. And it's supposed to kind of take the pain out of your back, and so you don't have so much back labor. I said, fine, I'll do it. They said it does hurt, but most women find that it's worth the pain to go through because the back pain goes away and you only feel it in the front. So I agreed, and I laid on the couch, I laid on the bed while the nurses got ready, and they said, you know, you might want to hold your husband's hand, it's gonna hurt. And I was kind of like, okay, you know, here I am in labor, I've got a pretty high pain tolerance, whatever. And so I held on to my husband's hand and I squoze his hand while they injected them. It felt like they were injecting them straight into the bone, and it hit a nerve. And they did, the 2 midwives did it at the same time, 2 on the bottom, and then they did it at the same time, just a little above the first site. So there was like probably like a little square of where they put it in.